Hey, 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 Fat Fish Podcast is back. Number 22. I'm Brad Grunny Grunberg, aka Snacks, aka I don't know what else. And that's Eric the Fish Schneider. Eric, will you introduce our very special guest today?
What a pleasure. Whenever you can get a person on that does so much for the community and people, this makes Fat Fish thrive. This is Deb Charabet. Deb, explain to this audience, our viewers and our listeners, what you do.
I am a USA Triathlon Level 2 able-bodied coach, and I am a USA Triathlon Level 2 in the highest you can go paratriathlon coach. I am the only paratriathlon and multi-sport coach in Los Angeles and north of San Diego. And what that means is I work with all kinds of everyday people and athletes who have either physical or visual disabilities. And I teach them and encourage them to race in our sport. And they learn, if they don't already know, how to either use a hand cycle, a race chair for the run, swim in a lake, in a pool. I work with people who want to do marathons. So I have a couple of people that I work with and teach them how to use a race chair so they can do marathons. So that's the stuff I do. And then on the able-bodied side, I do have a women's group bringing women into our sport of all ages, shapes, and sizes on both ends. So I work with, on the para side, youth from the ages of 10 to 18, and then adults who want to go and try our sport or even just one of the three sports. And I love what I do. It's great.
Well, first of all, you've touched so many people's lives and the families you've touched by having kids. What was your inspiration in getting into this?
I kind of fell into it. It all just kind of happened. I mean, my undergraduate is, and it's hard for me not to use my hands, was deaf ed and special ed. And then I decided I wanted to move to New York for just a year. And that year turned into 18. And I decided, well, I can't really live on a teacher's salary in New York. So, of course, I did the natural thing for deaf education and went into selling Howard Stern and radio. Wow. Totally works for people who are deaf and can't hear anything. But then I went into the television side because I'd always loved sports. That was a passion of mine. And came back to LA to be the crazy aunt that I am. And about 8 years ago, I started doing triathlons and got a grant from Ironman to bring women into the sport. And I spoke with my coach, who was the head of the LA Tri Club, and said, if I get a grant, will you help me build this women's program? And he did. And then he said to me, okay, it's your turn. You're doing it. And I looked at him like, what are you talking about? I have no clue. I'm not a coach. And that kind of started it. I got a level 1 able-bodied. And then a few months later, they were offering the last certification for full paratriathlon. So I went to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, spent a week there learning, working with para-athletes, Paralympians that live at the Olympic Training Center. And the rest is kind of history. So
are you from LA? Are you from Los Angeles?
I am. I'm an original LA person, believe it or not. I'm a Valley girl.
Where'd you go to high school?
El Camino.
What?
El Camino.
El Camino. I know that. My nephew went there. I love you. Oh my goodness, Valley girl. I loved you in the movie. You were wonderful with Nick Cage. Fantastic.
But that kind of started it. So for USA Triathlon, I that's our governing body for the Olympics. And it's only been in the last few years that para triathlon has become an Olympic sport. And so we're so excited for 28 to be here. It'll be the first time that LA has the Paralympics and para triathlon. And so I'm kind of USA Triathlon's point person. I also do camps and coaching for two nonprofits. One I just came home from this past weekend out of Chicago called Dare to Try. And we do a Learn to Try camp. Some of the pictures I sent you were from this weekend. And we do Never Evers. And same with Challenge Athletes Foundation out of San Diego. And so I work with them and USAT on our youth development program to bring our pipeline. Triathlon has a pipeline to bring in para athletes and able-bodied youth to hopefully have them eventually go to the Olympics. And then I'm trying to build a program here because, believe it or not, with me being the only one, which seems crazy in LA, we have nothing. So my dream is that even when the Olympics leave, we still have a program that is going on, whether it's at UCLA or somewhere else. But hopefully, it's going to really build at UCLA. That's what the goal is.
When do you have time to go to the movies or a restaurant? It seems like if there's 24 hours in a day, you're 25 hours into this, and that benefits a lot of people.
And by the way, you need some more jobs, Deb, please. You're a slacker. You are a real slacker.
I know. Well, and in between that, believe it or not, I do volunteer once in a while. And I do cycle a couple days a week with my cycling club. I try to have fun, but yeah, this is my season. So triathlon season, at least in LA, kind of starts officially in April when Ironman Oceanside starts off in April, and it kicks us off, and we kind of end this year. It's late. It's the end of September with the Malibu Triathlon. So during that time, yeah, I see friends once in a while. They remember what I look like. I grabbed dinner last night. They're like, oh yeah, we remember you. So, and this year, I have to say it's exploding. It's really, especially on the para side, which it really is my heart and soul. So I don't mind it. I have one more. I will be one of the assistant coaches for USAT at Para Nationals in Williamsburg, Virginia in September. And then in October, I actually get to sleep.
Really quick, Brad, I want Deb to give us the dynamics of a regular triathlon is always the swimming, the running, and the bicycling. Give me the dimensions of that. What I think it's a mile swim. Give me what a regular triathlon is, and then give us what a paratriathlon is that you can get these kids that have disabilities ready for.
So in regular triathlon, it's swim, bike, and run in that order. Right. Once in a while, you'll see a reverse tri, like Pasadena will do, because it's an intro, mini, and they end with the swim in a pool to let families do it. But right. There are 4 different distances. The only absolute distances are an Ironman 70.3, which is a half Ironman, and an Ironman 140.6, which is a full. Everybody gets this, oh my God, I can't do it because I have to run a marathon and I have to swim 2.4 miles and I have to bike 112. No, you don't. When I started, I said I was never doing anything with iron and man in the same sentence. It wasn't happening. But that changed, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So the other distances that I recommend people start with are sprints and Olympics. Sprint are the shorter distances, and they can be anywhere from a 200-meter swim to as much as an 800-meter swim, 200 yards in a pool to, half a mile in an ocean, a lake, anything like that. Olympic is a little bit longer. Like, for example, since we have Malibu coming up, Malibu has their classic, which is a 750-meter swim, an 18-mile bike, and a 4-mile run. The Olympic is 9/10 of a mile and a 24-mile bike, and then a 10K. So the distances will vary depending on who's putting on the race. With paratriathlon, it's a little bit different. Well, it's a lot different because you have different types of equipment. You and I, we can all just go out, put sneakers on, and run. But depending on the disability, or as I call it, abilities, and you can see Hero right here, he is missing, he's an above the elbow, so he does not have a forearm on the right side. On the left side, he's got 2 fingers that are enmeshed together and 1 other finger, and so he's got a little bit short of an arm, and he's missing his leg above the knee. But Hero's parents, which is amazing, this is what I love about paratriathlon, is you don't only get to know the kids or the adults that are racing, you get to know the families. And it's a team effort. So like Hero, we were trying him for the first time on a recumbent bike, recumbent bike, because he doesn't have the ability on a hand cycle to really push it. We were trying him on that. We ended up in a recumbent bike. That one is a hand cycle, which means instead of using his legs, his arms are doing all the pedaling, and it's almost the same gear system as a regular bike. He'll be shifting depending on how easy, how hard it is. So that would be his bike portion. If he were to run, he would be in a race chair or a new thing called the race runner. So the race chairs you'll see at the LA Marathon, they have it. You can either sit with your legs on what's called a plate, where your legs are in front of you, or a lot of people, when they get more advanced, they actually sit on top of their legs and they're underneath them for more aerodynamics. And it's what we also call a push chair. So they are using the arm motions to push them. It's got a long nose with a very small tire in the front and two bigger wheels in the back. And then you have on some of our hand cycles for the bike part, they're either almost lying flat down. Now that's a push chair. That's for running. That would be our running portion. And you control it. You've got a small wheel up in front, and you don't really have any gears on that one. It's the effort all comes from your strength, and you have brakes, and you control how it steers by the compensator, which he's holding on to. So that's at the track at UCLA, and that's where I'm hoping to be able to have regular training programs. So these are some of the kids who we had at our weekend last weekend, which was the first ever weekend for Intro to Paratriathlon in LA. And there's a mix of race chairs, recumbent bikes, and hand cycles. And then Mateo, who's standing, he's on what's called the race runner. So Mateo has CP, and he's an incredible athlete. He comes from an athletic family. His family, they're all swimmers. This was the first time he's ever been able to. He actually can run with that. He pushes it. There's a little seat that he rests himself on, and it's as if he's running, he's standing up. So he's not necessarily using the race chair or the hand cycle. And it opened a whole new world for him. It was great.
Let me ask you this real quick. This is a picture you sent me, Brad. Take it. This looks like it's something that should be in Life magazine. Explain that. Look at just the kid. He's got obviously, prosthetic legs, and the background and the leaves. I mean, what is this you sent me?
So this is at UCLA, and he was taking a break. He was out on the track on a hand cycle, and he just decided he wanted to take a little break. This is Joshua. So he just took himself off and went for a little walk. And this photo is by Brian Hodas, who is very well known in the sports community, cycling and paracycling. He called me and said, "Hey, can I come volunteer and take pictures for you?" And I said, "Absolutely." So it's just Joshua. I think he got a little frustrated with himself, or he felt he could do a little better on something. So he decided, "Hey, I'm just going to go take a walk and chill out a little and think how I want to do something, a little better." But
Deb, let me ask you this.
Look at that. Oh, sorry, Brad.
Deb, this is a very important question.
yeah,
The competitive spirit of just a regular athlete who is healthy. But these guys and girls, they're amazing. I see it in their eyes. They want to win, 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 baby, right? Yeah.
Well, triathlon itself, and
Right.
I think it goes both the para and able-bodied, usually are triple type A personalities. I mean, we're all crazy. Who else wants to go out and, why do one sport when we can do all three? I mean, and at one time. So with time limits, because all races you have to finish the swim in a certain time, you have to finish the bike, and depending on the race, like in Ironman, you will get pulled. So it can be really frustrating. You've done all this work for 6, 8, 10 months, and you don't finish the bike course in time, But with paratriathlon, usually the competitive distances are sprint. So normally a 750 meter swim, and it can be a 12 to a 16 mile bike. And then the run is usually a 5K. But we have some serious, Paralympian hopefuls and Paralympians that are vying for points for Paris 24. So in July, we had the Legacy Triathlon. And usually we have paranationals, which are just our athletes who have qualified from all over USA. But this year we had worlds. So that meant we had 16 different countries and almost 75 different para athletes vying to get points to qualify for Paris. And our US team is amazing. We had several gold medalists there and silver. And they're actually, our Paralympians are bringing home more medals than our able-bodied, if you can,
wow.
which
Talk,
is great.
talk about that. That's you.
Okay.
And then who's this? Alon? What's the two kids' names?
So there's Alonzo and there's Alexis. Just coincidentally, they're both A's. This is at Legacy Triathlon at Worlds. Alexis on the left, without the hat, is my paramarathoner who grew up here, and then his family moved back to Guadalajara, and about 5 years ago was in a car accident, and the car flipped and he had a broken back, and his friend, miraculously came out with nothing. So he wanted to come out and watch this, which I've been encouraging him. I met him because CAF granted him a race chair. He had done 3 marathons in his everyday wheelchair in Mexico. And when they introduced me to Alexis, I mean, he's got the best smile. I fell in love with him and said, I'm going to coach him pro bono because I want to help him reach his dream of, even though he can't get to the regular Olympics, he wants to go to the Paralympics. So we've been working really hard. I drive out there. He lives in Southgate and he doesn't have a car. That's my next purchase for him, is to help get him a car. And then Alfonso is very well known in the paracycling community. And last year, Rick Babington, who's a paracycling coach, reached out to me and said, I have someone that would like to try a triathlon. So I hooked Alfonso up with a husband and wife team from the LA Tri Club. She did the swim. Alfonso did the bike. And her husband did the run. He loved it. So last year we said, we're going to do a relay. That's another way to do it. And I was going to do the swim, and Alexis was going to do the run, and Alfonso the bike. However, USAT reminded me that, oops, I'm coaching there that weekend. They need me to handle all the paras. So I got a friend of mine to do their swim. And for Alexis, it was his first time doing a triathlon. I got them in the able-bodied area, and they actually came in 4th place against able-bodied racers. So that's not too bad first time, and they missed it by not even 12 seconds. So Alexis and I are going to start preparing again for the LA Marathon. And he wants to do the Guadalajara Marathon in his new race chair. So CAF, what's great about CAF is you can apply for grants to get equipment, or if, like, we had one little girl last year who we call it wheelies in the wheelchairs. We have our whole different language. And her parents applied to get help for her dance classes. Dare to Try, that I love going to out of Chicago. It's the highlight of my summer. We bring more people from the Midwest and the East Coast learning how to do triathlon. And so this weekend we did everything. We had a few coaches. There was one kid that I was working with that I'm in a picture with his mom. He had never, ever been in the water. He has spina bifida. And I just got him in the water with the volunteer. And all we did was float him on his back, float him on his stomach. I got him to put his face in the water to blow bubbles. Like, so many of these people, this is all foreign to them.
Can you do that with Brad? Because I heard there's a rumor that you're a great Elevate Multi-Sports. You're going to do what's called the Paradeli Olympics. Guys that hang out at delis, eat all day. You're going to get them to get on a bike and get in the pool. Brad, you could blow bubbles. So put you on. Imagine this little cutie putting you on your side, and it's like rescue a whale. I on a serious note, you said that there's not a lot of funding for things that you have to do, and LA is really, really not on ball with this. How do we get that going, and how can we help?
Oh, you are so great. Thanks for that question. That is something we are working on. And I think now that we had the first program at UCLA, it does give us a jumping on point. So it's making the connections. It's getting the word out there of, this is the program that I want to do. And the nice part is UCLA has agreed to be the partner as far as us being able to use the track in one of their pools, but that also costs money, even though they're giving us, a great deal on that. With the goal that eventually UCLA will become the West Coast Training Center, whether you're doing it recreational, and Michael Garafola, who is my partner at UCLA, in his recreational department, or we get the AD to look at us as a serious sport, which we are. So it's getting the word out to people that this is here, this is available. Look at the doors. I mean, the kids this week, and I had one mom say, Carmelo has never, ever swam or gone into the deep end or really felt comfortable swimming, and you got him to swim. And I swam next to him underneath. We even have, which I don't know if I sent you those pictures. We've got some great pictures of kids underwater, and you just see the smiles on their faces when they do this. So it's getting the word out that we're here to stay. We are not going anywhere when the Olympics leave. We're going to build this. I've got a really nice team between Michael and my marketing partner, Howard, who's all he does is work with the adaptive community in Los Angeles and Orange County. And they will come from everywhere. We had a mom with 2 kids come from Palm Springs, Ventura County, Loma Linda. So they so much want these programs. There is such a huge need for these programs. And I'm excited to do it. So if you know people, help me get to corporations that I know.
Brad, Fat Fish Podcast is on board. We are on board. We're going to help and blast this out. You need to go to elevatemultisport.com, find out more about what this great lady, Deb Charabet, does. Michael Garofalo, we're still going to have you on. But I'm really excited about what you do because you help people. That's what Brad does. Brad's a philanthropist like you. Like we always say, if Brad has $200 to his name, he goes to McDonald's, buys hamburgers, and gives them to the homeless. I make fun of this fat bastard all the time. That's the kind of person he is. I'm serious. That's what Fat Fish is all about. We want to blast out to everyone. I mean, you're taking kids with disabilities. We all have disabilities. I have mental disabilities. Who doesn't, right? You told me everyone's got a 1% disability. These kids can't help it. That like Hero right here cannot help it that he's got one arm and one leg. But Brad said it perfectly. They want to compete. They want to be like normal people. What you said, and I'll stop talking, that the one kid was 12 seconds off with a regular Olympian, that's amazing.
Right. And they weren't the regular able-bodied, but they are normal. That's the thing. People just look at them. Oh, they're not. They are human beings like you and me and everybody else. Yeah. They just look a little different physically, but they have brains that work beautifully. They have humor. They give hugs the way you and I give. And you know what? We all bleed the same color red at the end of the day.
Deb, let me tell you this. Fish has one disability. He can't stop talking. Now, yeah. So, Deb, I have some questions for you. Let me ask you, I have to ask you a personal question. Are you married?
No. That's why I can do all this.
You have a boyfriend?
Oops.
You have a boyfriend?
Do I what?
Have a boyfriend?
No.
Because you are a great catch. I mean, you are the salt of the earth. Jesus fucking Christ. You do it all. Deb, I'm telling you, I know people won't do shit. They won't get out of bed. They won't help anybody. Look at all these people, all these lives you're touching. You're amazing. I'm so happy you've been on this show. I mean, this is fantastic.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me.
Can you tell us one story? First of all, I want to know what you would tell your younger self about your life so far.
I'm following my passion and my dream. I always knew I wanted to be in special ed, and I love sports. And I did the whole corporate world. I was on the TV side. I was on the sports side. I did it all. And now I feel like I'm completing that circle. This is the last job I'm ever going to have. And I just said to one of the board members at Dare to Try this weekend in Chicago, I said, I am not retiring until I know I have a program that I can hand off to somebody else. That I might be 90 and I might be in the wheelchair with these people, but I'm not going to retire until I know that this program is going and we're supported. And, you know, one of the things, just going back really quickly to how do we get the funding? Here's an opportunity for people to not only give physical dollars or equipment or whatever, but they can actually partake. Volunteers. I have put together the first swim exit handlers program here in Los Angeles, where I reached out to my triathlon and cycling community to learn how to help get these athletes out of the water after their swim, into their chairs or to their prosthetics, so they can actually be involved in, honestly, they can touch where their dollars go. They see it, even if they don't volunteer, they see it by the smile on that athlete's face, whether they're a child or they're an adult, whether they do it recreationally or they go into our pipeline and decide they want to compete on whatever level it is. So this is, to me, it's we're educating people. We're bringing into the world that just because someone looks a little bit different doesn't mean they're not the same as you or I. And also, as I like to say to people, the whole diversity and, all this stuff going on, DEI, diversity, inclusion and equality, it's not just the color of your skin. Everybody thinks it's a Black or an Asian or a white issue. It's not. It's so much more than that. And that's one of the other beautiful things about having UCLA as a partner. They're very much into this aspect and bringing more to their students that have disabilities.
Before we wrap this up, Deb, I want to give a shout out to your unbelievable parents for raising such a special daughter. May I do that? Wow. Unbelievable, Deb. Unbelievable. Yes.
Bravo, Brad.
And if I can add just one last thing.
Sure.
That unfortunately, and Stu knew this. I mean, I lost my mother at a young age to cancer. My father recently died of pancreatic cancer. And so my brother, sister, and I are very involved with the Hirschberg Foundation. And because you ask what I do for fun or craziness, I always think of a new way to raise money for pancreatic cancer. And when I said I wasn't going to do anything with Ironman, when my dad at that point was a 2.5-year survivor, I said, I can do a half Ironman. And I did. And I turned it into a fundraiser. He came up, they made him a VIP. So he went from you're ruining your body to, oh my God, there you are. I'd hear this voice. You're looking good everywhere. And then this past November, a friend and I cycled from San Francisco to LA, and I raised money for the Pancreatic Center at UCLA, the Hirschberg Center. So I do some fun things.
Your parents are cavelling in heaven. They're cavelling right now.
He is. And I will tell you, Brad, my dad had died one of the first summers a couple years ago when I went to the training center with the kids. And I just felt something come over me that it was my dad saying, you are where you're supposed to be. And it was just the best.
That's it. Hey, Deb, Elevate, I'm going to say it again. ElevateMultisport.com is the website for Deb Charabet and everything they do. We need to get you out there more. We're going to have you on again and bring on Mike Garafolo, your partner. Not Mike Garafolo, the guy's on NFL Network. Her Mike Garafolo.
Hi, Mike Garafolo.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's amazing. He brought wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis to UCLA, and he was one of the original founders of Angel City, which is a different ball game that we're not affiliated with. We're totally separate. So,
Brad, would you say this, that the world had more Deb Charabets in it, there'd be a lot less bullshit?
It would be the bwant I think Deb should run 2024. President.
Yeah, I'm voting. I'm in.
I'm
in. Great. You want to start my campaign? Let's go.
You know what our campaign would be? Everyone, no cars, everyone's on a bicycle, and everyone gets a swimming pool free from the government. That's it.
There you go. How'd you know?
There you go. There you go.
You and I, baby. We got the mano. Hey, thank you so much for being on Fat Fish. And you are one of the delights we've ever had on this show. Thank you, Stuart Samuels, for getting this young lady. And we will continue to blast out your everything that you guys are doing to help these people.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much.
We love you.
Brad, I'll show you how to blow bubbles in your milk at the deli. Okay?
Oh, really?
Don't tell him that. No. Hey, babe.
Continue all the good stuff you do. We'll see you on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Time. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Deb.
Bye.
Definitely. Bye. She's cute. Man.
You're still on. Matchmaker, make me a match. Are you married? Do you have a boyfriend? Look at Brad. Brad's
People
gonna
wanna know
leave
this
the
stuff.
show early. Quiet. I talk a lot, but Brad's gonna leave the
too
show
much.
early, Deb. So I know you're still watching, and he's gonna hit the gym and a swimming pool.
Then get on my bike.
Hey, buddy, go ahead.
Yeah, that was great.
I got to ask you a question, but go on. I want to say what you're gonna say.
Great way to start the new week. Feel good, Deb. Just a lot of great energy. It's energy with all three of us. But can you imagine all the things that she does?
Well, not only that, it's all about helping people. And then she talks about her dad dying, and then she does the ride from San Francisco to LA, which you and I can never do. And I'm in good shape. But that passion, and she said she's in your world, the entertainment world, and goes into this. Yeah. That's a circle, man. That's a full circle of helping. She's out there helping the community, and what a wonderful story. And I'm glad that we got her on the show. But my man, Brad Grunberg, okay, there's weekend at Bernie's, and then there's weeks in Vegas. And Brad started his week in Vegas with me at Chuck's Tavern on Wednesday night. And he comes in with a very beautiful woman, and they eat their ceviche and all that stuff. And then I'm going to let him tell. He had a week. There's Brad on Wednesday night with me. That's how it started.
The best.
I don't think you slept for 5 days, because you left my bar about 2:00 in the morning, and you had a great time. And I'm going to let you go, man, because I'll tell you what he did. He went to show with the Corner Orlando. He went to strip clubs.
Wait. I thought you were going to stop talking. First of all, watching you do your thing at Chuck's Tavern, it was a great way to start my trip. So last Wednesday, I flew in, came to see you that night. My girl, Kathy, we had a great time chopping it up, drinks, great atmosphere. Of course, I was going up to everybody in the bar telling them we need a new bartender, and the guy can't stop talking. But then, the next day, I'd see that was Wednesday. And then Thursday, I went to see my friend Jeffy Zell. He is a magician, one of the best at the Magic Castle. He has a show at the Magic Theater, which is near Pawn Stars. You know that show? It's
sure,
downtown. And the small room. It's so funny because he does everything. He'll greet you at the door. He's the snack bar guy. He shows you to your seat, and he performs, and he does it seamlessly. Thank you, Jeffy Zell. I had the best time. And then, the big Friday night was me and Tony Orlando. VIP. Tony is retiring next year after 65 years in entertainment. And this guy gave me the great quote. Ready for this? He said, Brad, I can still hit the ball, but I just can't run the bases. And he wants to retire on top, and he's going to do that at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut next year. Maybe we'll fly out, do our show from there with Tony. But Tony has a memory it's like a moment in time when you're with him, when he tells your story, he takes you back to that moment. He knows he's Sammy Davis. He told great stories. And I got to go back into the dressing room after and chop it up with him and Will Forte and a great actor. He was on SNL. Such a nice guy. We spoke about Adam Sandler because we were all in That's My Boy, the movie. And it was so much fun. And we're telling Adam Sandler stories and just great. And then after that, on Saturday night, I went saw my baby brother, Greg Grunberg, who's a great actor and a great musician at the Star Trek convention. Oh, boy. Yes. Oh, my. George Takei. They're all there. And my brother was his band, the Action Figures Band, got to play. And kind of to culminate the weekend, it was a 4-day event. And I love the Trekkies, man. The Trekkies are very unique people. And I got to sing on stage with my brother. He brought me up, and we sang Bad, Bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the old town. It was great. Little Chicago song we all know from Jim Croce. And we had a fantastic time. I mean, just hanging out with my brother, watching him just run the show and play his drums was something I'll never forget. And then Sunday, my last day, I went to Wet Republic. A shout out to Vanessa Saros and John Orlando for making it happen. I got a cabana. Oh boy. Oh no. I told my birthday's in November, but they closed for the season in October. So I just said, today's my birthday. And Fish, I'm going to send you some stuff for a future show, what they did to me. I mean, this pool, I mean, you know how hot I am, right? Brad Pitt. I have better abs than Brad Pitt. You want to see him?
Sure. Take your shirt off, Big Shot.
Here's my abs.
Yeah. Look at this.
There it is.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
That looks like oh my God.
I've been working out. I went to McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. So they showed me the best time, and I was a VIP. I mean, we had the best cabana, and the girls, and what they did to me, and they abused me. It was so much fun. And Gio was there, and Travis, the Hebrew Hammer, he did a dance. These guys work with John Orlando at his podcast studio, and George was there with his girlfriend. Travis was there, and of course, I had a lot of girlfriends, if you know what I mean. Look at me. But it was so much fun. It was a great way to end my trip. And it was a week I'll never forget.
Okay, you left out a couple of key.
Well, the one.
Wait, I'm going to sum it. First of all, you come to Vegas. You're a good-looking young man with the body.
I'm very young. What are you talking?
Yeah, with the Brad Pitt abs. Is it true for our East Coast audience that the only time you got laid in Vegas was at the Star Trek convention, and it was with the Klingon? Because
yes. We snuck away. We snuck away to the William Shatner suite, and we made love all night. Yeah.
Well, because you act as good as William Shatner, so might as well. And then one little item you left out was there's some great pictures of you in some of the famous strip clubs here in Las Vegas with our own friend of the show, John Hyatt. You said he's a king. I love it when I see a picture of you, and I'm not going to put it on there, and a girl's got her mammary glands in your face, and you got a $20 bill up. That is a perfect. That is a
I'm
great.
all about charity work, and different kind of charity work. But I will tell you a story. I went to 3 clubs, the Palomino with John Hyatt. I did the circuit. Then I went to Honey's, this new strip club, and then I ended up at the Rhino. But I ask every girl, they come up to you, hi, honey, you're so beautiful, you're a great looking guy, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to go in the champagne room for $1,500? You want a $500 dance in the VIP? I go, listen, girls, I'll give you anything you want. But the only thing that I need to kiss you while you're dancing for me. I need some Mac Daddy kisses. 10 girls I asked, 10 up, 10 down. Here's their face. I go, why can't you kiss me? I don't understand this. Your hand will be down my pants. You'll be doing different things, and you can't kiss me. What's this world coming to, Fish? I just want a little kiss.
You're a passionate man. And now that they've seen your abs, when you come back to Vegas, forget, there'll be 50 girls lining up for you. You have to admit, though, because I know you want to retire here, open up maybe a nightclub in the future. The town is really, really bustling, and you right now, you are a great tourist. Basically, you are looking for the greatest Las Vegas authority in talking about tourism. You did everything. You went to shows, you went to strip clubs, you went to bars, you ate the cuisine here. Yeah. I mean, how much did you tip? How much did you tip room service? Because I can only imagine what your bed looked like.
Didn't have room service. I stayed at the Virgin, great hotel, very small, clean, and
perfect for you.
All these casinos, you got to keep walking and walking and walking. But I really had a great time. The Virgin was great to me. You were great to me. Everybody was great to me. Vegas is a place of destination. People, you want to go and have a good time. There's nothing you can't do, and there's nothing you can't see. You just have to know the right people, and I do. Eric the Fish Snyder.
No, I'm not the right people. I just happen to be in a bar.
John Orlando is so dialed in; it's unbelievable. I mean,
I saw a video of him, and he had a drummer go out there. His drummer came on stage with him and started playing I don't know what it was, it looked like a metal contraption, and it was just
John's his son. You mean Tony Orlando?
Tony Orlando. When you went to see Tony Orlando, there's a video of him on YouTube. And his drummer comes out behind the traps, and he's playing this on the sticks in front of Tony, just on a metal thing. And Tony is amazed by it. It's amazing how great Tony Orlando, and we had him on the show, one of our first podcasts together. His voice, you said 65 years in the business. I remember Candida and tie a ribbon around the old oak tree. And you're telling me he still sounds the same.
Sounds the same. And by the way, that drummer is named Tim Pope. And when I was backstage after the show, I asked him, "You're going to come on my podcast." He has incredible stories about Tony and all the other bands that he played with. He's been playing with Tony for 40 years. Great guy, man. And you know what he was drumming on? Tony's stool.
That's what it was.
It's a stool, man.
Yeah. I'm an idiot. It's a stool. That's trying to go, oh my God. I mean, I've seen guys do stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you
really
visited our fine city. And I know you had a good time and you blast everything on Instagram and Twitter and social media, but you live your life. And like our guest before, Deb Charabet, living your life is the main thing about Fat Fish. We're fat for fish and life, and that's part of it. Look at this meme. Go ahead.
Wait, before you show the meme, I want to tell everybody this. The reason I went to Vegas was for some business. Wink, wink, right? And I had those meetings, but I wanted to celebrate myself because just recently I decided to get rid of all the people in my life, the shit, the toxicity, the negativity, the jealousy, the bitterness. I got all these people out of my life and I feel so much better. Please, everybody, get people out of your life that bring you down. You don't need it. I'm telling you, I did it. I never thought I could do it, Fish, but I did it. And by the way, you made the cut.
Yeah, I imagine. No, I'm safe in my skin. I'm in therapy for anger management. Have been. It's not like it used to be. With the recent stuff that happened to me in my life with major deaths, get people that bring you down out of your life and your social circle. Get them out. Yeah. Get them out, because this is the big cliche, and we talk about it too on Fat Fish. You're not guaranteed tomorrow, so make tomorrow hanging out with someone you like, and have people like Deb Charabet on your show. And I don't want to sit there and be the preacher, but I've done the same thing. I think you learn to do that when you hit your 60s. It's like, you know what? I want to go out with less drama, and that's what it's about.
Amen.
Yeah, think about this. This is one of my favorite. We have a kid that works at you call him Little Fart. It works at Chuck's. He's on a show called Cobra Kai. Yeah. And I did a little research on him because he told me what a great guy William Zabka is. You remember William Zabka from The Karate Kid, and he was a jerk off and back to school. Yeah. But he loves to play that. He can play Bach. He plays the violin. It'd be like, so you talk. Why I thought about that is I watched a video of Greg Grunberg playing the drums. A great actor. He's a great drummer. Some of the passions that some of you, I mean, Brad, you have other passions. And now I know when we get off the show, you're going to start working out for Deb Charabet. But look at this guy. I mean, he's playing Bach.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a concerto. He's a Bach violinist. All right. Hey, I'm excited. First of all, shout out to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is coaching the World Cup basketball team, and they're crushing it right now. Yep. Steve Kerr is one of Brad's great friends. You know him as the coach of the Golden State Warriors, so we'll watch that. Football season started. Hard Knocks on HBO starts tonight. I don't know if Brad's going to watch it for the Jets, because Brad's the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan on the planet.
Love him. Great guy. Great human being.
This is a game I went to in 1980. This is 1985 playoffs. Matt Millen right there. That's Matt Millen, the linebacker of the Raiders. Yeah. The Raiders are 14-1, and they lose in the first round of the playoffs to the New England Patriots. That's the owner of the Patriots, Pat Sullivan, giving Matt Millen shit, and Matt Millen knocks him out on the field. I mean, I remember watching that from the stands. I'm distraught because the Raiders lost, but I said, what the hell's going on? And you see Matt Millen kind of headlock, bam.
A left cross.
Who knocks out an owner? Last meme, because I'm always into the entertainment world, because of this guy has been in 120 things. Read this, Brad, and out of the top of your head, tell me, and I'll give you mine.
The movie that traumatized me the most as a child was, that's very interesting. Kramer versus Kramer.
Really?
I really felt for I felt for the little kid. Yeah, I did. How about you?
Well, I'm going.
Or Schindler's List.
I'll tell you. Well, Schindler's List was another one, but I'll tell you the two that really got me on a scary level. Carrie with Sissy Spacek. When that hand came out at the end, I'm 16. You know, I'm a pussy at the time, and I'm a pussy now. I couldn't sleep for a week.
Yeah, you're still a pussy.
Yeah, the actor. But one that really got me that I still cry to this day. There was a and I can't think of the name of it. It's Ordinary People with Timothy Hutton Keepers and Doug Sutherland. God damn it! What's the dad's name? Kiefer Sutherland's dad, Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore.
Right.
And at the end, if you haven't seen the film, it's a touching film about a kid that's traumatized because he has to witness his brother dying on a boating accident. And Mary Tyler Moore can't deal with it and treats him like shit. And Donald Sutherland always has his back. And the last thing you see in that movie, if there's not a dry eye, then you have no emotions whatsoever. So those two films.
Those are great. Also, when Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, when Tom Hanks got AIDS. Oh, man.
Oh, Philadelphia. Yeah.
Philadelphia. Wow. That performance by Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington was incredible.
Another Tom Hanks movie that I lost it was Saving Private Ryan when he pulls Matt Damon and goes, earn this. And then you fast forward, you see that Matt Damon's character visiting Normandy and seeing the Captain Miller's plot, and he breaks down and tells his wife that I live a good life, and you just know what people went through. And that's another thing I want to get to in our audience.
By the way, in Saving Private Ryan, I got to give a shout out. We lost him recently. Tom Sizemore gave an Academy Award performance, and I got to work with him for a short time. I'm telling you, he was a character. He had a lot of flaws, but he was down deep a very good person and an incredible actor. I mean, he delivered every time.
Yeah, he was a hero in that. Here's a guy, Tom Sizemore. We'll segue if we just chop it up.
Yeah,
I mean, you think about that character, and he was a hero in that. He was just a great sergeant to Tom Hanks' captain status. But the one film that really shows Tom Sizemore to me that was just incredible was the one with Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis. That they were the Natural Born Killers.
Oh, boy.
When he played the crazy cop. Oh my God, he was phenomenal. He's great in everything.
We're talking about you, Tommy. Really,
yeah.
He was 62. He left us, and he left us too soon. He had a lot more to do and a lot more to say and a lot more performance.
And go out and see Tony Orlando, because when you lose, we just lost Tony Bennett. And I'm a big Tony Bennett fan and saw him in concert in the 90s, 2000s.
Right.
I haven't seen him in the last 25 years, but there's a man, I know he's 96 years old. That's a full life. But the legends in our life, like Orlando, that are still going on, go see them, because they're a good part of our past. And I can feel the dreams. It's what was great back then. It could be great again. And people like that inspire.
Last year I went to see Tom Jones with my friend Mark Sanderson for his birthday. I never seen Tom Jones. Oh my goodness, at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles next to SoFi. Incredible venue. You should check it out. Really great. And Tom Jones, he brought it. I mean, this guy's 82 years old, bringing it like when he was a young kid. I love that. That's what I love.
Did you throw your underwear on stage like my mother did? Rest in peace. My mother saw me.
I threw my bra on stage.
Yeah. Well, your underwear could be a tent for this guy. Probably use it as a shawl. Like that. Hey, Brad, on the sports circuit.
That's my name.
Are you following up what the Dodgers doing? The Dodgers are really stepping up. Mookie Betts is on fire right now. I love him. He's my favorite Dodger. I know you're the cornucopia of the LA Dodgers, sports team.
They're really gelling. The Dodgers are gelling. You know what's great about the Dodgers? They all are like a little family. These guys, like brothers, they bust each other. They make fun of each other. There's no drama in the clubhouse, which is fantastic, and that shows on the field. And they just wipe the Padres clean. I mean, you know what's amazing about the Padres? All that money, all those great players, nothing. I mean, it's crazy. I think it starts in the locker room. That's a great thing about Steve Kerr. Even though they had all that drama in the locker room with Jordan and Draymond, he still got the job done. They made it in the playoffs, and they made it far. But it's amazing that people know the chemistry is so important in sports. It really is, because you can fake it to make it, but I'll tell you, it shows its ugly head when you least expect it. Don't you think, Fish?
Yeah, well, for the biggest, absolutely. Most of the things you say, I agree with, especially when you say I'm picking up the check at the deli. I agree with that. For the biggest payrolls in baseball right now are the New York Mets, New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, and you just mentioned the San Diego Padres, and all four are probably not going to make the playoffs, which I've always advocated for a salary cap in all sports. Baseball doesn't have one. But you're right. The Dodgers, Dodgers got this new kid named James Outman, my wife. He's gorgeous. They bring Freddie Freeman in from the Braves. Everyone adapts to the Dodgers. I know Dave Roberts has won World Series and was in a shortened COVID year in 2020. But this team's going to the playoffs again. And I think it should be mentioned that they're the blueprint for an organization, like you said, that has fun, wins, and it should be mentioned. Football season starts.
I want to say one thing
about this sports with John Hardison.
Wait, before you start, I want to say one thing. And look at Clayton Kershaw, 2.12 ERA. How old is this guy? 36, 37? I mean, I'm telling you, the culture of the Dodgers that's why they're the Dodgers, the great Dodgers.
And that's it. And, you think about LA. LA is one of the, big cities. You think about what dominates. Baseball is the number one sport in baseball in Boston and New York. Chicago, it's baseball with the Cubs. LA, it's not the Rams or the Chargers. It's the Lakers and it's the Dodgers, and always has been. And USC football and UCLA basketball. And I'll argue that. You can come on our podcast and argue that with Brad and I that both grew up there. That's it. The Rams won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and they have 40,000 Bills fans in for their home opener. But the Dodgers I asked you this before, and I'll ask you this again. We got 9 minutes to chop it up. In my life living in Los Angeles, there was no bigger sports icons than John Wooden, but this guy was number one, and that was Vin Scully. And if you ask your dad, Jerry, who's 91 years old, he'll have memories of Vin Scully when your dad was in his 30s.
There's two, right? There's two. Vin Scully and Chick Hearn.
Chick Hearn.
Yeah, I'm telling you, different sports, but two brother icons. I mean, when you hear Chicky call a game, come on now. All these things, it's in the refrigerator, the butter's getting hard, the jello's jiggling, No, I'll tell you. And Vinny was, it's time for Dodger baseball. These guys will live forever. That's what I love.
They don't make them like that anymore. No. The only thing about Chick Hearn, he's too much of a homer. He was just a homer. Vin had a little bit of look. He loved the Dodgers, but he would really appreciate a play from the other team. I remember talking to my brothers about this. That the Lakers in 1971 are playing you remember back then it was the Washington Bullets, and they had two great players, Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld. And in the first quarter, the Lakers are down 32-7. I'll never forget. I'm 11 years old.
Wow.
And here's Hearn calling the play. He goes, rebound by Unseld. He throws it the length of the court. Delvin Hayes. He stuffs the basketball. Just blow the Lakers out like that. He got so pissed off.
Oh, I love it.
They called a timeout. And at the time, Keith Erickson was the guy, the analyst for him.
The color guy.
Remember Keith Erickson?
Yeah.
He goes, take it easy, chick. Now the Lakers stink tonight. It was great.
That's what I love. You tell the truth, good or bad, right? Kind of like on this show. Anyway, but no, Fish, how was your week? How was your weekend? How was
great. I had a lot of grandfather time with my granddaughter, kind of compared to you. I'm more domesticated, but when she says, I'm Poppy, and you hear the kids say Poppy for the first time. Went to lunch with my granddaughter, and then Sunday went swimming. I'm in my pool a lot, and I'm trying to catch up to Deb Charabet and her people, but a lot of relaxation, a lot of reading.
How come I don't even
meditation?
I got a bone to pick with you. I come to town. Let me come over to the house, see the family. Vic, your
wasn't there.
Wife who totally
Max, wait a minute, stop.
Wait a minute. I know Max was out of town. Wait a minute. Hold time out. I'm talking now. Then you can finish the show. Come on over to the house. Have a bagel and cream cheese.
I don't need it.
Sit with Vicky and I by the pool. Let's chop it up. Your family. Brad. Oh, I love you and all this stuff. How many more fucking times do I have to come to Las Vegas with your excuses? Come on now, baby. I love you.
I can't afford you, number one. Number two, wife is in, and I didn't see my wife all weekend. School started on Monday in Clark County. So she's a school teacher.
Okay.
So she was there 12 hours a day. My son, who loves you and you love him,
I do.
Went on a golfing excursion with his buddies in Colorado. So I'm with my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter, who's 15 months. And I don't want her looking at you. I don't want her thinking the first thing is the whale with Brendan Fraser. I don't want you have to imply impressions on kids.
Wait, you don't want her looking at me?
No. We're trying to teach her how to swim. We don't need you jumping in and causing tidal waves in the pool. You know, you're always welcome at the house. But I'm gonna double down on that. I've been to LA 4 times this year, 2 for funerals or something like that, or and a wedding. When have you ever? You don't allow me around your family.
I ask you, no, but with the funerals, come on, you
bullshit.
Your family.
Hey, Fish, if you get a chance, come over. I know you're on this side of town.
Fish. I don't even call you by your real name. The guy who I do a podcast with. You know, you're an embarrassment. But anyway, no.
At least you're honest.
Exactly. I mean, please, come on now. Look at you. No, but I'll tell you something. We might be doing some business together. We're not going to say anything, but it would be incredible to open something with you and somebody else that we love, and it would be a great experience. I know, from soup to nuts, it would, because we are all nuts. All 3 of us are nuts. It would be a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens. But people put down Vegas. They think that Vegas is just the Strip. No. There's a town. I mean, there's schools there. I mean, people are living their lives. The Strip is just right in the middle, and it's a great town. I mean, I'm telling you, it was hot, but not that hot, which was good. I was hot.
Well, you're on vacation, and right. I always tell people, everyone, I still talk to people, and they think we all live or on the Strip. I said, no, we have little leagues, we have PTA boards, we have movie theaters and supermarkets, and we have all kinds of pickleball contests outside of Vegas. I live 35 minutes about 30 minutes from the Strip. Yeah.
I want to end with something. I want to talk about something. So when I come into town, I have my guy, my driver, but he's my dear friend, Jason the Bloomer. We call him the Bloomer. Jason the Bloomer Bloom. Okay, they call him Teddy Vegas. He's been driving a cab and Uber for 27 years. He takes me by this racetrack thing. Okay. I don't understand. So they're building this monstrosity in the middle of the Strip here, off the Strip, for this race car, the Formula One event next year.
No, this year.
Oh, it's
November.
This year. Oh, okay. Yeah. What the fuck? Can you tell me a car drives by 50 and you're in a hotel room? Somebody told me $1,500 to look down at the cars. Who the fuck cares? What is going on in this world? All this money?
This town's blowing up with the Sphere opening up, with U2 having a residency. Forget the Formula One, which is going to be a clusterfuck just getting down to the Strip. It's huge for this city. And you know what's even huger? The Super Bowl's here this season afterwards for 2 weeks. I'm getting you up for the Super Bowl. You can stay at my house because there's nowhere to stay. Just to go through all the come on. Brad, if you're gonna live in my world, you're gonna have to live a little football. I know you like the NBA, but the Hall of Fame game had a better rating. With that, and Rodgers didn't even play. The most NBA games in the playoffs did last year.
Really?
Face it, we're a football nation, buddy, and you better jump on. And guess what?
Yeah.
Football games have better concession stands than the NBA.
By the way, I'm going to a game with Joe Kopp. Joe Kopp's coming to town to visit his beautiful daughter, Catherine, that I have a crush on. And we're going to go to the Ram Pittsburgh Steeler game at SoFi in October.
Nice.
So
you'll enjoy that big time, man. That's a great stadium. I've never been there, but I heard it's a great venue.
Yeah, I've never been. I'm going to go for the first time. And my nephew, Justin Holvey, works for the Rams. He's back for his 3rd season with the Rams. So it's going to be a love fest in October for me. Sure.
Just real shout out to Shucks Tavern. We're doing a last man standing contest there, and it's blowing up. And we have a $50 board this year, and there's 50 people that can get in the $20 board, and we already signed up 28 people already. I don't know I've been gone a couple of days. I'm off, We have a $50 board. It's the 4th year we've done it. It's the most fun contest you could ever do. Get involved in Chuck's Tavern. We'll do it another 10 years or 5 years that I'm there. And I might put a fat fish on there and have a entry for this guy. And we'll make a pick every week. If we win it, if we win the contest, Brad and I will give our winnings to charity.
Perfect. And
Get us out of here.
I got to go because Grubhub just got here. I'm Brad Johnny Cocktails, a.k.a. Snacks Grunberg, and that is Eric the Fish Snyder. We'll see
Thank you, Deb Charabet.
Thank you, Deb. That was unbelievable. We'll see you again on the show, and we'll see you next time on Fat Fish. Thanks.